And now we come to the most daring declaration that I have ever seen in the Ari HaKadosh. As I mentioned to you before, Haman is the wicked one. Haman is portrayed as the evil character in the story that unfolded on Purim. Tonight, that concept is going to be completely changed. Haman was a human being, yes, just as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were human beings. But we know they are called chariots. The reason we call them chariots is because they were able to connect the world of Esther, the concealed world, the world that exists around us. Haman, says the Ari HaKadosh, Haman, unfortunately, was a channel. And a channel for what? And I quote from the Ari, because what I have to say now is the Ari's clue as to why we have been suffering in exile for 2,000 years. I've seen this Ari HaKadosh year after year. But I, for whatever reason, decided, and I'm determined, that we've got to do something about this madness. There are others who believe they cannot, and then there are those who simply do not feel the responsibility to change the pathway of humankind. B'nei Haman harasha haya machashev gadol. He was a great sorcerer, great magician. Lishto zeresh machshefa gadolah. These were people who could connect to the world of metaphysics. They were very powerful. Says the Ari, B'zeh yiyeh hagula l'Yisrael. Only with this consciousness, says the Ari HaKadosh in his Pri Etz Chaim, page 470, for those of you who wish to pursue it further, and to check me on this, which I would prefer. U'b'zeh yiyeh hagula l'Yisrael. Only with this. What? Hinei Haman gematria tzadik vav. The numerical value of Haman, He Mem Nun, is 96 with its kolel, which means He is 5, Mem is 40, the Nun is 50. Together, individually, they add up to 95, and when brought together as one unified whole, known by the code name Haman, it adds up to 96. Wonderful. So what? Continues the Ari. And here he quotes the Talmud, and of course we have heard this Zohar on many occasions. Haman adds up to Tzav, commandment. You know what the Jewish religion is about? Commandments. The corruption of 10 commandments, when it never was known by its name, commandment. How many Jews around the world know that there is no such thing as commandments? 10 utterances, not commandments. 10 utterances. Says the Talmud, Tractate Sanhedrin, and the Zohar in Parshat, in Vayikra. Tzav, ain't Tzav ela avodah zarah. That one who is under the assumption that this Jewish religion that we are familiar with is a collection of commandments from God is an idol worshiper. Both the Talmud and the Zohar both make the same declaration. And the Ari HaKadosh says, what was Haman? What was the enemy of Israel? The enemy of Israel was and continues to be the fact that we have remained an ignorant, illiterate people. You have asked, and when past generations have asked questions, they have received one of two answers. God in His mysterious ways knows what He's doing, or so it is written. That, my friend. God says, be obedient. God says, subject yourself to me. All these are corruptions. They are idol worshiping. God never intended for us to be a purely obedient people without raising questions. Questions that are never to be raised is what we are referred to as the next generation of the kingdom of animals. They do not raise questions. But a human being who does not raise questions, nor does not understand what he is doing, is idol worshiping. He is worshiping an idol God. Because that was never the intent that God says you do, and do not ask. Never. That Tzav, says the Zohar and the Talmud, is idol worshiping. And you want to know who has been the enemy of Israel? Those who will fester, ingest our consciousness with an idea, do not ask. So it is written. So must it be, because it's God's will to annihilate 6 million Jews. My friends, that was not the opinion, nor is it the opinion of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the Talmud, and the Ari HaKadosh. Because that was never the intent that God says you do, and do not ask. Never. That Tzav, says the Zohar and the Talmud, is idol worshiping. And you want to know who has been the enemy of Israel? Those who will fester, ingest our consciousness with an idea, do not ask. So it is written. So must it be, because it's God's will to annihilate 6 million Jews. My friends, that was not the opinion, nor is it the opinion of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the Talmud, and the Ari HaKadosh.